We'll go ahead and get started. I want to welcome everyone to the Grand Canyon Fiscal Court meeting, Tuesday, July 16th. And if we could, I have Michael Williams with the Family Worship Center here in Williamstown. If everyone could stand, he'll do the invocation. And then after that, continue to stand, we'll do the pledge.
All right, let us pray. Father, we just invite you into this meeting tonight by prayer and asking you, Lord, just to come. And we just ask you to guide the meeting, and we just thank you for giving us governing authorities. And we just thank you that they're appointed by you, Lord, for our good. And Father, we pray that you give them wisdom to facilitate and improve quality of life for all Grant County residents through the timely maintenance and expansion of our infrastructure while strengthening and diversifying our economy. Let your grace and peace be given to them and guide their thoughts and actions by your Spirit. Give them wisdom tonight to make right decisions during this meeting, and let your will be done tonight. And let your name be honored and glorified. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Pat, if I can get you to call row.
Magistrate Riley.
Present.
Magistrate Coldarn.
Present.
Magistrate Humphrey.
Present.
And Judge Wood.
Present.
Judge Stills, I'm sorry.
Present.
Old habits die hard.
Pat, I'm glad I'm not the only one that does that stuff.
Moving on. Approval of the minutes. Need to present for a motion to approve the minutes dated July 2nd, 2019. Good.
Having read minutes of July the 2nd, 2019, I make a motion we approve as presented.
I will second.
I have a second. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving down to fiscal matters. Present for review a motion to approve the claims drawn on the general fund, the road fund, the jail fund, dated July 16th, along with the transfers as presented.
Claims drawn on the general fund, road fund, and general fund dated July 16, 2019. I make a motion we approve those transfers as presented.
I second.
I have a second. Any further questions? All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving down to page 2, appointments. Present for a motion to hire Evelyn Davis, part-time executive assistant, finance officer, hourly rate of $18 per hour, effective Tuesday, July 16th, 2019. And as I spoke on this before, Evelyn, we had budgeted for to come in and help about 10, 12 hours a week on Tuesdays and Wednesdays before and after fiscal court meetings. And if anybody doesn't know, Evelyn Davis has worked for the county for approximately 40 years, since 1975 under Judge Martin. She had left a couple years ago, and was willing to come back part-time to help us out a little bit on fiscal court matters.
Well, Chuck, I was going to say that in addition to that, one of the claims that we just approved is something that this county has waited and needed for a very long time, and it's a program called Fiscal Soft, and she will also play an instrumental role in helping our current administrative staff prepare us in getting that software up to date and allowing us to use technology, if you will, in the 21st century. So I make a motion to hire Evelyn Davis as a part-time executive assistant to Judge Dills and the finance officer for the fiscal court at an hourly rate of $18 per an hour effective today.
I second.
I have a second. Any further questions? All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
One more thing, Chuck, on that, on our claims that she was referring to. Also on the claim list this month is the purchase of the tractor that the county has been long awaiting. So the check will be cut for that, and it will be in very soon. So, okay.
Yeah, as soon
Get
as
to
you
cutting.
as soon as you get word, they call you, Steve, let us know, and we'll get the paperwork, and we'll have the check waiting on them.
I think it's been long due coming, hasn't it?
Yes. We need to get some roadsides mowed.
They are being mowed, and
Yeah.
I will say that.
Okay, moving down to ordinances. Need to present for first reading ordinance number 10-2019-0233, an ordinance of the Fiscal Court, Grant County, Kentucky, adopted by reference the interlocal agreement between the City of Dry Ridge, Kentucky, the City of Williamstown, Kentucky, the City of Corinth, Kentucky, and the Grant County Fiscal Court regarding emergency services in Grant County, Kentucky. The first thing we'll be doing is, that's the first reading on it. We'll have a second reading on August 6th, will be the second reading on it. Then also moving down to agreement and resolutions. Number one, present for a motion to approve the interlocal agreement between the City of Dry Ridge, Kentucky, the City of Williamstown, Kentucky, the City of Corinth, Kentucky, the City of Crittenden, Kentucky, and the Grant County Fiscal Court regarding EMS services. I need a motion to approve the agreement.
I'll make a motion to approve the interlocal agreement between the City of Dry Ridge, Kentucky, the City of Williamstown, Kentucky, the City of Corinth, Kentucky, the City of Crittenden, Kentucky, and the Grant County Fiscal Court regarding EMS services.
I will second. Oh, sorry, Sean.
That's okay.
I have a second. Any further questions on this?
I'd just like to comment that if, any of the public at large would be interested in reading that, to make the interlocal agreement itself, you're welcome to come to the office and get a copy to do that.
There's been a lot of time spent working with, we have the mayor of Dry Ridge with us, Greg Brockman, and we've worked hard on trying to get this agreement so that we can get EMS services provided throughout the county and make it a share cost opportunity that all of us have skin in the game. So
I just wanted to compliment the mayor of Dry Ridge and the council for being receptive to feedback. As we just saw the first reiteration, about a month ago.
Yes.
And I just appreciate being receptive to some of the feedback that we've asked for as far as having, quarterly touch points over the financials pertaining to the matter. And I know that no other community is doing what we hope to achieve collectively amongst the county. And I look forward to learning from this and for us to continue to fine tune the cost of that service. So thanks for the opportunity to be receptive to feedback and for what I hope for there to be a strong partnership.
I'd like to thank you for being patient, going through all this with us, because it's been a hassle for everybody. We appreciate all the time you put into it, and as far as the city is probably put a lot of time into this to try and make this work for everybody without costing everybody everything they got. So we appreciate everything that you guys have done, and we're there to listen to at any time. If anybody wants to come up to the city building or contact me, we will be more than welcome to sit down with anyone and answer any questions.
Thank you, Greg.
well, thanks, Greg.
If we could back up for a minute, Chuck.
We need to
Yes.
do
On
all
the,
vote.
on the ordinance, I don't need a motion on the ordinance, but I do need a motion for my notice to go to the paper, if somebody would make that motion to approve the notice to go into the paper.
Well, what I'll do is, I've got a second on the interlocal agreement. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries on the interlocal agreement. Now, backing up back to ordinance, I need a motion that we're going to be
Advertising.
advertising this in the paper.
I make a motion to approve the advertisement for ordinance number 10-2019-0233 pertaining to the fiscal court of Grant County adopting by reference the interlocal agreement for the EMS services provided by Dry Ridge.
I second.
I have a second. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Now, jumping back down to agreement resolution number 2. Present for approval for resolution adopting and approving the execution of a memorandum of agreement between the Grant County Fiscal Court and the Kentucky Department of Transportation, Department of Highways, in the amount of $662,500 for the resurfacing of various roads. The roads that will be resurfaced with the funding are following: Stone Schoolhouse Road, County Road 1116, Lincoln Ridge Road, County Road 1148, Baton Rouge Road, County Road 1100, and Elliston Napoleon Road, County Road 1314, along with the notice to run posted in a local paper requesting for bids for repaving for the above-mentioned roads.
I make a motion to approve the resolution adopting and approving the execution of a memorandum of agreement between the Grant County Fiscal Court and the Kentucky Department of Transportation, along with the notice to be posted in the local paper requesting bids for Stone Schoolhouse Road, Lincoln Ridge Road, Baton Rouge Road, and Elliston Napoleon Road, and for repaving of the above roads mentioned.
I will second.
Have a second. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Well, we'd be silly to not approve something.
I didn't think anyone was not going to vote on that.
Do what?
So we would certainly be silly if there was not a unanimous conclusion to accept that.
We'd have to have a discussion on that. Okay, bids. Opening the bids for the purchase of hot mix base and the hot mix surface for the Grant County Road Department for 2019-2020. The note in this, as you all know, this is being rebid because of a vendor was inadvertently was not notified of the original bidding dates. So at our previous meeting, we decided to place this out for rebid. And doing so, we received response from the ones that had bid before. One that kept it the same, which is Eaton Asphalt, and I'll start with.
I was wondering if they were going to rebid or maybe if they'd honor a lower submission.
Okay, Eaton kept their bid the same. Hot mix base at $67 a ton. Hot mix surface, $68 a ton. Cold mix, $135 a ton. And if I understand right, Pat, they were the same amounts, correct?
Yes.
Okay, Bluegrass Paving is actually, their bid had went up, I think, from the previous bid. Hot mix base picked up at the plant per ton is $53 a ton. Hot mix surface picked up at the plant, $56 a ton. And they did not
They
bid
didn't
again
do
on
the
cold
cold.
mix.
They didn't do it cold.
So, okay, the one we received in the mail, this is dated July 12th, 2019. It was received at 7:30 a.m. by Pat Conrad, and this is from Rigler Blacktop in Florence.
Pretty good deal on that.
Yeah. They need a sharper knife. Okay, on Wrigglers, we have asphalt surface picked up at the plant. This is on hot mix, $51 a ton. Asphalt base picked up at the plant, $47 a ton. They also have a crushed concrete, DGA, $10 a ton.
And no cold.
No cold. What do we do on the cold, Steve? They didn't bid on the cold patch?
He's the only one that has it. It's UPM. The other plants don't even run cold.
Okay, so we'll be getting from Eden the cold.
What that is winter mix.
So,
Okay,
and
is
is what that
We
is,
don't even normally bid the cold mix. They just
Okay.
put it on there.
They usually don't use enough to bid it.
oh, you just call when you need it because it's below the threshold.
So it looks like, based off the calculations of it, that Wriggler Blacktop was the cheapest on the base and also the cheapest on the surface.
Judge, what did you say the mix on the base was?
On two Wrigglers,
Yes.
51 on the base and 51 on the surface
I was thinking
But it's
that.
still
and $47 on the base.
Yeah, I was
It's
thinking
$2
that
cheaper
something
the
is
other way. Yeah.
backwards there.
Yeah, they had theirs listed opposite to the
Yeah,
others.
okay.
But either way, that one is still
Yeah.
$2 cheaper than Bluegrass.
But I was just
Yeah.
wondering on that.
I agree, yeah. I'd assume like gravel, would you say? Is it? Sir?
There's also a formula
Do you-
that they use, and they can charge us a little more than that, but all the companies go by it. It's going, it's a state formula, isn't it, Steve? Is that how they do that?
Roger was asking on the one quote that was provided on the DGA stone, blah, 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 what did you say? It was $10. Is that just just standard gravel, like 57s or something, or no?
That's what crushed concrete.
So like limestone?
You have buildings.
No.
Oh.
Concrete. It's crushed. It's concrete.
It's like where they tore down the drivage motor in the concrete, that machine up there crushes that.
What
So
do you use that for?
would we have a need for that,
Oh, we could use it in places.
like on some of my roads?
It's cheap, $10 a ton.
Would we line ditches with it? I mean,
No, it's for slab.
okay.
It's not big.
Oh, okay, so it's crushed. It's what? Okay. I make a motion, are you looking for a motion for us to
Need a
approve?
motion.
Okay, I make a motion to approve the sealed bid from Wriggler Blacktop for the items that Judge Dills has provided us on $51 for the one item and $47 for the other. And do you want the $10 one included?
I have a motion, I need a second.
I'll second.
I have a second. Any further questions or comments? If not, all in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving down to Judge Executive Report. On Judge Executive Reports, the only thing I have to add is if anybody's out Friday, we're having a cookout here in front of the courthouse. All the donations are for Relay for Life. It's 11 o'clock to 1. The sheriff will be cooking on the grill, and so will the county attorney, Stephen Bates.
Picked a cool day for it.
Yeah. So all the elected officials will be out cooking and serving. So it goes for a good cause. So anybody that wants, we'll have hamburgers, hot dogs, and sides and drinks. So, and it's all for donations. So come out and enjoy. Moving down to reports, present the Grant County Coroner's Report, March 30th through June 30th. Has everyone had an opportunity to look at that report?
Yes.
Okay. Next item we have is Magistrate Report. We'll start with you, Jacqueline, on anything you need to report to the audience.
Construction continues to aggressively happen on the Blanchett Bridge. They're still planning for it to be targeted to be finished by mid-August. I think that's very feasible, and clearly that's a few months ahead of schedule. It was projected to be finished by fall, which would be great, as we've discussed. Other updates pertaining to that area, there has been some change of plans and from the governor's office, I would like to have your ear pertaining to this because it is related to financial matters. The second bridge in the area, the North Delaney Bridge, which was planned to be an at-grade crossing, it was accurate that the bid has came back $13 million over the budgeted amount. Yeah, say wow again, because I thought I read a typo. And our legislator, Representative Ms. Maddox, has been working with myself back with District 6 to get clarity on what that looks like, the timing, and frankly, it's just probably going to be a battle in 2020 to continue to get funding for that second bridge. And I also think, in spirit of transparency, it's going to be probably a bigger issue for it to be an at-grade crossing versus an actual bridge, just because the liability is so much more. And so that will be well above our pay grades and handled at the federal level more than likely. And I just find that interesting. And then the third project in that area, which is still underway and progress is being made, is the connector road between Delaney and Blanchett. And currently, they're in the phase of purchasing the right-of-ways and, of those respective properties from those property owners. And it's scheduled to be let for bidding in October. And the second, it should be completing the next construction season, so we're still a little ways away when you think about it. And so the good thing is at least one bridge will be done within the next month, but the second bridge, whether it's going to be a bridge or an at-grade crossing, is frankly back to the drawing board because of financials, and the bids came back, and then the connector road is probably, I would say, another year out. Would you best guess, Mr. Tatum, for this? Yeah, and so that's probably my biggest challenge right now, just because it's making our call volume, so it's extending the call volume for first responders and firefighting from the south end of the county because of those bridges, and we're probably on the 8th or 9th month of that now. And so I think collectively we will continue to follow up, and they'll continue to connect at the state level because they've been dealing with this for about 18 plus years or so. So it's been a very slow process. I'll pass it on because those are my main updates.
We are doing a lot of mowing across the county. I think if you haven't been out on the roads, I know in my area, whoever the gentleman is doing it, I've been notified he's doing an excellent job. So, you can pass that on. Lots happening, it seems like, in the county within the next month or so. Just to make note, the clerk's office is going to be closed on Saturday due to the San Elizabeth Triathlon that's going to be going on. It's a really pretty big event. I don't know how many entries they have.
Hundreds, 350.
About 200 so far, I think.
Yeah,
on the
Target, yeah.
Also,
250.
250, I was going to say, I know they target several hundred.
And Stage Right Musical Dinner Theater has got an event right now it lasts through the 21st. It is called All Shook Up, so, if you can get a chance to attend it, I hear it is very good. Also, there is going to be a grand reopening ribbon-cutting event for Walmart coming on the 26th of July on a Friday. And also, it's a little bit down the road, but you've got to start.
9 o'clock still.
Yeah, it is 9 a.m., I'm sorry. Also, the Farm to Table, if you're interested in those tickets, there's only 125 to be sold, and those usually go pretty fast. That's going to be in the downtown Williamstown in September the 20th on a Friday. And also, the Grant County Animal Shelter, Friends of the Animal Shelter, let me get the specifics on it.
Auction.
Yeah, there is a quarter auction that's going to be held by them at the Extension Office. And let's see, what was the date of that?
September 21st, I think.
It was what?
The 21st of September?
I don't think it was that far out. I don't recall.
Well, Pat's part of that, so she better know.
But it is to raise money for the Grant County Friends of the Animal Shelter. So, it's something for people to do and get involved in.
Thanks, Shauna.
Take it away, Roger.
Yeah.
Down on the north end of the county, the land of milk and honey. Things are staying busy and active as always. We got a couple new businesses in town there that the Pizza Pro, where Not Your Mama's used to be. Nice little restaurant, open in the evenings Monday through Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday during the day and evening. Both of them work a full-time job, so that's the reason Monday through Friday is not open for lunch right now. But great food, great people. The owner of the Pizza Pro actually is a survivor of the Beverly Hills Fire.
Oh, yes. Yeah,
So
I've heard that.
he has even written books about the Beverly Hills Fire. So very interesting man to talk to, good family. Got a new barber shop there by the Total Care Pharmacy, the Bearded Barbers, I believe is what they're called.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing very well. Very pleased to be in the area. They're happy to be in the area. They came here from Union, Kentucky, so it's good to locate somebody out of Boone County into Grant County. We don't get that often, do we?
We're going to get it more.
Yes. Out and about, I've been visiting some of the county properties during my off time, and got to see some of the jail the other day when we had a meeting over there. Like to compliment Mike Webster and his staff. When you walk in that jail now, it's a show place in comparison to what it was, and you can actually breathe in there now. The stench is gone. Had a chance to visit the Justice Center, had a walkthrough of it. Nice facility, but there's some things over there that we're going to be working on to get improved and get a few projects done over there before they get out of hand on us. And the parks at Crittenden, nice place, still a lot of work to be done, and it's being done. It's a work in progress, I should say. So.
There should be starting this weekend on grinding the stumps down.
Yeah.
There's about 60 to 70 stumps that were the ash trees that died, and we're getting them knocked out of the way before somebody trips on them.
Yeah, it's a whole lot of stumps down there. They're doing some painting on the roofs down there too, right, Chuck?
That's correct.
They're doing some painting on the roofs of the facilities down there. It's looking a whole lot better. We got a water line to repair to the old kitchen area where where the fairground kitchen used to be. Well, there's a water line broke between the shelter house and it, and we're trying to get it fixed. And if we get it fixed, hopefully we can have that set of bathrooms opened up. Maybe even utilize that kitchen for some events down there. The kitchen's still fully equipped.
And the grills that they installed down there are just really, really, really nice.
Very nice commercial setup. So park gets a lot of use. I still hear people ask about different events. I think that's something we need to work on, is better advertising of the events that are happening down there. Mm-hmm. Getting the word out to more people, whether it be through social media or through flyers or what. But I'll be honest, I'll show up there sometimes, go through and I say, what's going on? Well, we're having this event, and I didn't even know what was going on. So I think we need to work on better advertising of these events to get more people involved. Another program that is so underutilized here in the county, across the county, is this Lunch Bus Express through the school system. What a program. Free lunch for these kids. They station at different areas every day, free lunch. I had the opportunity and the pleasure to tour the bus that they've put together, and it's really something to see. And I asked us, well, how's it going? They said, it's a great program. The biggest problem we have is we want more kids. And they can't get them. They can't get them. They're set up there at Crittenden between 11 and 11:30 every day, and they might have a dozen kids participate out of probably 400 or 500 kids in that area. And it's all free. The bus is air conditioned. It's custom designed and custom built inside. If you ever get an opportunity, you can see it setting. Take a look inside that thing. These folks went over and above for what it is, and it's a great opportunity for these young kids. So if you got any ideas on how to promote that, let's see if we can get that done.
The kids have transportation.
Well, I think transportation is probably a lot of it, but like in Crittenden, they park there by the Dalton Plaza, and there's probably 200 kids back in the Dalton area, and out of that, there's maybe 6 or 7 come out of there.
Yeah, it travels to locations.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
move
and it
around.
goes to different locations. It's got a timeline that it goes. I don't know, I'd just like to see more kids. So many kids are going, they're going without food all day. You know, it's a shame, it really is. We need to find out how we can outreach to these folks and make this more successful, because the food's there, it's free. The crew that's working that bus is phenomenal. I did see a lot of parents driving. I've seen 2 families on 2 different occasions driving a van load of kids in and dropping them off. Kids would go in and eat. They come out, get in the van and go. That's, you know, what we got to do to get this more publicized, utilized more. But like I said, when things are busy on the northern end, still some things coming up, I'm sure, in the future. Commend the road department on doing all the things that they have done on the northern end of the county and continue to do on the northern end of the county. And anytime I have a question, I call Steve, and Steve answers it immediately, what can be done and when it can be done, and it's always done. So thank you, Steve, for that. And that's all we have.
Roger, I wanted to make a comment on publicizing and marketing and trying to get the word out more. Last week, I met with Robin Webster, the R&B agency that handles our county website, and Colton met with her as well. And in partnership amongst us and from this governing body and with Jamie, with the chamber, the IDA, tourism, we will be working to update the county's website.
Great.
And it has been a long talk, a long discussion about trying to get some type of community calendar that has a variety of events, not just county-sponsored events, but events sponsored by the school, events sponsored by the cities, and many of our committees and clubs. And frankly, it's just a really big animal to wrap your arms around, because there's so many. You've got the 4-H Extension Office. There's so many different entities, and when people say there's not much to do around here, I mean, they must be underneath the rock, because there's so much you can't get to all of it at times. And so we have a vision over the next couple months, especially as we prepare to submit to Frankfurt our Work Ready narrative and that application for a 3-year extension. A lot of that has to do with how are you communicating the opportunities to the community, educational opportunities, social opportunities, and those. And so we're working on it. And I just know many people have tried to tackle it and nothing's ever stuck. And so the website is going to be refreshed, and somewhere we will have some form of a community calendar that will be connected to Facebook and Twitter, so that you could easily share like tweets and stuff like that also.
Great. I know, and just to add a couple more things, I know R&B, that's the name of the agency, right?
Yep.
R&B.
And Dry Ridge
was initial to get our Facebook up and going and running and monitoring, helping us on that, and it's been extremely successful. So they've done great work, and I'm sure they'll do a great job on helping us get the word out where it needs to be got out and how we need to do it. Going back to the interlocal agreement on the EMS, just to give you a heads up on the northern end of the county there at the Crittenden Firehouse, they've already stationed into the firehouse there at Crittenden. And I've heard so many positive compliments already about this service that is there. Over the 4th of July, there was a 3-year-old who fell into a swimming pool out on Oakwood Drive, and they transported up. And the folks involved down there said that the ambulance was there within just a matter of minutes. And no doubt that was instrumental in saving this child's life. Before, when there wasn't anybody stationed there, you're talking 20, 30-minute wait time for an EMS, for an ambulance. And just to give everybody information also, the Crittenden Fire Department, the Crittenden Volunteer Fire Department, is a separate entity of the City of Crittenden, for those that didn't know that. The City of Crittenden does not own or operate the Crittenden Fire Department. So they operate on a separate basis altogether. The city of Crittenden owns that building, and they contract with the fire department and furnish them a certain amount of money under contract per year, and the rest of that they do through grants and through the money, the tax monies they get. So to be a volunteer fire department of that size, if you ever get the opportunity to stop down there when the doors are open, go through there, I think you'll be amazed on what a little bitty old fire department, what they're offering for the people within their district. And I'm very proud that they're across the street from my house. So I get to see them a lot and see what they do and see what they stand for, and they're doing the right thing. They stand for the right thing. And this EMS agreement is nothing but been positive for the northern end of the county already. And we thank City of Dry Ridge for offering that agreement. Since I came in office in January, every place I've traveled across the state to different training seminars, I've always asked the different magistrates and judge execs, how are you guys funding EMS? And counties around us right now are struggling, absolutely struggling, trying to fund EMS. And they're even starting to come to us and saying, how are you guys doing it? So these are ideas that are, this is a breaking ground thing that could help many, many counties across the state. One county said that they're currently with a private contractor, but it's up for sale. So they're going to have to create some kind of taxing district, but even through the private contractor, they was paying out over $500,000 a year just out of the fiscal court alone for EMS. And that wasn't including what the cities were including or topping off on that. So they're going to have to start creating more taxing districts.
Well, some of them even have a taxing district or neighboring county,
Yeah.
and they still can't afford it.
They can't afford it. So anytime we can all work together to make something work without bringing more taxes onto the people, I think it's a great thing.
Well, and I think, the state just at the last training, had indicated that we have got to take a step back in communities our size where we can consolidate services and do more partnerships versus every entity having their own identity and their own power, if you will. Because at the end of the day, that's what it sometimes boils down to is power. But we've got to think outside the box and look not only just within our county where our cities can partner with the county, but frankly where neighboring counties are partnering, because the tax dollar is stretched so far and is going to continue to be stretched because this pension across the state of Kentucky, that burden is not going away, and it's trickling down right here at this courthouse and trickling down to the cities. And many of us are going to be challenged to do some different partnerships than we've ever had, because the cost of doing business is astronomically expensive, from law enforcement to emergency management to who knows what else. And I think this is just the becomings of what probably needs to happen.
I commend Judge Dills and Mayor Brockman for working together, trying to get this agreement together. And anytime I've called Chuck, said, Chuck, what about this? He'll get right on it. And Mayor Brockman, same way. I'll run into him at meetings.
We'll just go right to him.
We're all working. We have an open line of communication, and it's so great to have that open line of communication instead of asking somebody, well, what about this? And I said, well, they know your business. And there is some of that going on in other areas, but we are very, very blessed and fortunate here that we don't have to deal with that. We've got a very open line of communication with everybody, and it's working. It's working good.
Yeah. Well, if we're ready, our jailer Mike Webster, if you want to get up and present your report, and as he's walking up to the podium, we had a meeting last week. Roger was able to attend that. We all try to take turns attending some of the meetings on the substance abuse program. We met with the Department of Corrections, and I'll let him fill you in on all the good information we received.
Well, as the judge alluded to it, and Roger, we had a meeting. It seems very positive. Our letter of requesting the program has went out. We believe it's going to be received with open arms. One of the biggest positive out of this program is it's going to offer an arm, which, along with the judge and the magistrates, We also had Judge Knight and the county attorney sit in, and Leanne with Crawford's office was there as well, state's attorney. And it looks like there's going to be an arm that we can offer to some individuals in the county that would qualify for the program, to where they can also benefit from that and be reimbursed back from the state on the cost of the program and them being housed. And we're moving forward to iron some of that out, and when it's set in stone, I will gladly share more of it with you folks and with you all as well. Prior to that meeting, I had an earlier meeting Friday morning on another program that I'm going to start offering, that is a life skills class. It's I believe it's a 6 to 12 week program, and it's basically faith-based. It's a free program offered throughout the state to different facilities, and it just goes through so many different things, as simple things as budgeting a checkbook, resumes, interviews, just different things that these folks may need help with, so that they'll be more successful. Hopefully we can combat some of the recidivism. We've been continually keeping the grass mowed. The rain slowed down. The grass is growing a little slower, so that has been a help. Our count as we speak today is, I have 62 county inmates, 244 state inmates, and a total of 306. So we're moving forward with things, and our new medical's working out great. They've stepped up to plate. We should have all our RNs on staff. It's looking in the next week, which will really be a big benefit. Our mental health hours are up. Things are really going good. I appreciate you guys for coming to the meeting and showing the support and taking time out of your schedule to be there and see that. It's really all I have to offer.
Well, I appreciate you reaching out to them, because it's a win-win for all of us. One, we need substance abuse in our jail to keep the reoccurrence, plus financially, with CSAF, where we're allowed county inmates, not only ours, but from other counties, that we can be refunded at the state pay level for the SAP program. So financially, it will help us. It will help with our surrounding counties, our neighbor counties like Owen and the other counties, of getting their county prisoners closer to them, receiving the SAP, the substance abuse training. Also, we would be receiving the revenue off of them in SAP program, and would save our neighboring counties the money they're having to spend on their county prisoners. So,
yeah, basically, once this all gets approved and we line it out, those county inmates that qualify and are accepted, and they have to, there's willingness on their part as well. When they come to that program, the state's going to pay me just like they've been sentenced. So they become someone who's not incurring a bill that we have to try to chase down and pay. Will be being paid from the state, just as if they were sentenced in doing state time.
Would they talk like next week or two, we should be getting our approval?
I would think so, yes.
Yeah. They were very positive. I feel very positive that they're definitely going to approve it. Don't you, Roger?
I feel, yeah. And add to that, we even asked them, so, well, what's our chances? And they said, we wouldn't be sitting here talking to you.
That's what I would think, too.
Yeah.
If it wasn't going to happen.
And they're looking at the number of 60 in this program.
Right.
40 males, 20 females.
20 females, 40 males.
Yes, get started.
Their stay would be like a 6-month.
Yes, it's long-term lockup.
6 months.
Yeah. So, thanks a lot, Mike, for
Thank you all.
willingness to take care of that problem.
Good for David Rose, you must be doing something.
Moving down, we have Sheriff Brian Maines.
I know, you've been down at Crittenden for every month.
Spend most of your time at Crittenden Council. The chief deputy.
Welcome back home.
Glad to be back. Nothing new to report that Todd probably hasn't already told you, other than the call volume is going up. Part of that's summertime. Part of that is the state police numbers are down, and they're just not taking the calls. I've spoke with the captain. It's a mutual thing with us. It's not them not wanting to do their job. It's just that they can't. They have another focus.
They don't have the manpower to do it.
They don't have the manpower.
And are most of these traffic violations, or much more than that?
A lot of what they're doing is traffic, the ones they do have. And are you talking what calls they're taking, or the call volume going up?
Yeah, the call volume going up that you guys are.
Just in general.
Okay, so
911
across the board.
calls.
Okay.
Anything coming in through dispatch, the captain's basically said he's going to give to us or the prospective city rather than them take it, so that they can specialize in the investigations, the highway safety.
So are
things
you
of that
thinking
nature.
that at some point it's going to take longer to respond to people? Like, are we finding a backlog yet?
Well, I
or-
mean, that's been going on for years, yeah. If non-emergency calls at times do get backlogged. I haven't seen anything drastic
Okay.
yet, but they do get backlogged from time to time. So, a couple things going on, but y'all may have read in the paper, the Take Back 22, something that Ken Little with the city of Dry Ridge approached me about. He drives that road every day. He sees the way people drive. He sees the collisions that happen out there. So we got together. We looked up the statistics. There's a lot of injuries and fatals on 22 from the Dry Ridge city limits all the way to the Owen County line.
Mm-hmm.
So we have some highway safety grant money. And I said, well, why not utilize that money to target that area? We started that 4th of July with the city, and also the city of Williamstown got involved and came out there and helped us. And they liked the ideal, so we're probably going to, between now and Labor Day, also bring it over to this section of 22 and just see how that goes, and maybe utilize that grant money on roadways through the county over the next couple of years.
Is it restricted to just 22, or can it be used on these things?
It can be used anywhere. They kind of quit restricting that money. Especially, we got a mini grant. We don't have the full scale. So they don't really restrict what highway, like used to, is I-75 or US 25.
Yeah.
So now they've kind of opened it up and said, you know, you're the locals, you know where you need it, go do it.
What does
Somebody
the
has
go ahead.
posted there on 25, they're in Sherman, just south of the Sherman Newtown Road. Somebody has posted a homemade speed limit sign.
45, not 60.
45,
I
not
kept
60.
wondering what that was. I'd had it with my
So-
grandson tell
And
me.
we do have
Apparently, that's a problem area through there.
I
So.
think all of 25.
And I'll be
is.
honest with you, just driving through there, since I've seen that sign, I've glanced down and said, well, how fast am I rolling?
It's
So-
easy because of the straightaway.
Yeah.
You know, you got two straightaways coming into there.
Two large straightaways that are really long.
So Brian, a part of that grant, two questions. One, how much money does the mini grant provide your department? And two, is that just like a traffic stop type of thing, or are you setting up radar?
So
or just
we,
curious?
on this
'Cause
mini
I haven't seen
grant,
it.
we got a little over $4,000. And basically the way it works, they don't give you the money. We have to pay the overtime out, send them, we have to do 4 citations an hour. So you either have to stop 4 cars an hour and write each one of them a ticket, or you stop 1 car and give them 4 tickets.
Is this a joke?
No, it's
No,
not
no,
a joke.
no,
That's
it's always
what
been
they want. They don't tell you how, but they tell you got to have 4 citations an hour.
And that's easy, expired tags. I mean,
Oh, you ain't got to tell me.
And obviously, me being a sheriff, I tell my guys, try to look for the stuff. You know,
Obvious
obviously,
stuff.
obviously go out and hit the people that are doing wrong. If somebody's running 75 mile an hour,
Yeah.
up 22,
It's easy.
passing somebody,
It's
in no
easy to
passing
find.
zone,
There's
right.
okay.
But yeah.
So it's not a target. It's not
And they
a,
can
a
write
check
warnings
stop.
too. It's not. Used to, it was restricted to 4 citations. Now they call it 4 contacts. Now they don't like you to write nothing but written warnings, but
Okay.
it can be a mixture, a combination. And then we have a grant coordinator, which is Deputy Britton. All the paperwork's turned into him after somebody works it. He submits the paperwork to Highway Safety. They in turn cut a check back to us for the overtime.
Jacqueline's wanting to witness it firsthand, so I can
Yeah,
recommend
if you'll
how she
just
can
run
do
out
that.
22, I'll give you the
About
dates and
79.
times.
Okay,
They'll
I'm just
show
gonna tell
you how it
myself, I
works.
got pulled over by a Boone County cop the other day, and I almost cried, and I'm trying to figure out what did I do wrong. And I didn't have my tags renewed. I'll just tell you. And I thought, what? And I said, I thought my husband took care of it with all these other vehicles, and it's at home in my office. He said, no, ma'am, it's not paid. And I said, I'll get right on that. And I got a warning. So I didn't come to you to have that taken care of.
I've heard that excuse before.
I texted him, I was like, I think I'm getting in trouble, but I had no idea. I put my gun up on the top and gave him my ID, and it was a fiasco.
The only other two things I have, and then I'll ask if you all have anything, is one, as you all know, Deputy Williams is leaving us, so in the weeks to come, we're going to be posting that opening. We'd love to have a lateral, but don't think we can afford one, so we may be sending somebody else to the academy and waiting that year out to get them trained. And then also, we went ahead and ordered one of our 4 vehicles. Try to get rid of some of these maintenance hounds that we have, and it will be here tomorrow. Won't be equipped, but we're going to pick it up tomorrow and take it to be equipped. So,
You lucked out.
yeah. Bachman had some on the lot, ready to go, so.
If you're gonna pick it up tomorrow morning, be sure and call me so I can call the insurance company.
I
and
will.
get the insurance.
I will do that. Yeah.
These
They-
lateral trains, or these lateral hires that these other counties are advertising are going to absolutely cripple us.
Yeah.
Just to give everybody in this room heads up, if we've got anybody left on the road within the next 2 years, we're going to be fortunate.
Yep.
When you have Campbell County starting off people at 60,000 plus benefit package for a lateral transfer, so they don't have to put them through the academy, and giving them a take-home car for a 5-county radius area. What's a young guy going to do? And Boone County is, and I'm not talking bad about our neighbor, Boone County, but at the same time, Boone County, they ain't going to put nobody through the academy. They're going to keep stealing everybody they can. And I say stealing, but at the same time, these guys have to apply there. But when they offer them a package of what they offer, these guys they'd be fools not to go. Okay? What are we going to do?
Very interesting that just a couple of years ago, Independence Police called Rick, said that this guy's applied, what's it going to cost? Rick told him, wrote him a check.
Yeah, they wrote a check because the officer was under contract, but well, they're cheaper to pay that contract off. I mean, Lord have mercy.
I mean, I think
Well,
the best we
and-
could do
and
is
speaking of that contract, that's been brought up to me. Why not make a
Implement.
deputy sign a contract? And I think Judge is on the same page with me on this. If somebody wants to leave, I'm going to let them go. I don't want a guy a year into a 3-year contract
Be unhappy.
be unhappy for the next 2 years with me, and you're not going to get any quality work out of that gentleman. So
for their
as long as I'm have a say in it, there'll be no contracts here.
Yeah,
I'd just like to see us progress over the years, benefits and salary wise. Because I'm telling you, if anybody gets a chance, Campbell County Police has never been a known police agency for anybody to go to, but it was brought to my attention what they're offering now. And we're talking rural Campbell counties, all you work. You're not working Newport, Cold Springs, Alexandria. You're working rural Campbell County.
Yeah, you're not working any of the city limits in Campbell County.
I don't
Just
have
working
enough
in
time to
County.
explain their benefits package, but if you all want to see what a police officer can make driving a few miles up Highway 27 out of Falmouth, look it up. It
At no
will-
cost to that officer, because they're giving them a take-home cruiser,
Yep.
all expenses paid, they're allowed to go to within a 5-county radius in Grant County, I think even part of Scott County.
Yeah, Grant, Pendleton. You could
Brackett,
live in Grant, Pendleton, Bracken, Boone, or Kitten.
Boone, or Kent.
Yep.
If you live right across the Scott County line, they said they'll let them go there too. And they're furnishing the car and they're furnishing the gas.
Well, and I think the best thing that we as a community have to continue to do is work to bring in industry that can generate additional revenue, because we're really constrained within our current budget. with the multiple priorities. I mean, with the landfill that's likely to close by the end of the year, that's additional revenue that this county will no longer generate. And, in discussions with Brian and other department leaders, I think there's a lot of incentives, from compensation to benefits that many of us would want to do, but it's, making puts and calls within the budget, within our current boundaries that we're operating in. And then I think over time, hopefully, real estate will continue and additional industry and jobs will come in, which will create a larger tax base to deal with, have more dollars to deal with. And I think that's a long-term thing to continue to work towards. But in the meantime, what are some other smaller things that we could do? Which hopefully you'll create a subcommittee to go off and work on that, Mr. Dills.
Did he start in police court in Grant County?
Yes.
Or did he come from somewhere else?
Let me give you a little history, because he's one I would have never thought would leave us. But he's born and raised Grant County resident. The only place he ever applied was the Grant County Sheriff's Office. He did so 5 years ago now. He didn't get hired for 4 years. And I gave him a phone call one day and said, hey, I know you're working at dispatch, but has any other agency hired you, or are you in any processes? He said, no, I told you that's where I want to work. That's where I want to work. We hired him. He came to work here, started doing the job. We sent him through the academy. There's a whole backside through it, but he'd been here a year and a half. Okay?
Not counting the academy? Or counting the academy?
Counting the academy. But once he seen how much he was really making and had a second kid and daycare and insurance and all those things that add up at the end of the month, he just couldn't do it. He was working 2 other jobs besides being a deputy sheriff. Yep.
Yeah, I think if they go through the academy, I think you have to think about a contract. To keep them for 2 years at least, and they're going to walk after that.
Yep.
For the more dollars. Teachers are the same way. I mean, somebody can teach in Boone County and make what, 6,000 or 10,000 more than they can in Grant County.
At least.
There are 2 million more jobs in this country than there are people to work.
Yeah.
And the only way that you can get labor now is to steal from another
Swaps.
and that's the way it is.
But the problem we have is there's no other entity to steal from.
Exactly.
We're
You're
Yep.
in the training, in the learning end of it, and then you graduate them to Boone or Campbell County, and that's a fact of life.
Yeah, we can't compete.
No, you can't.
We don't have the grants to compete.
Well, and that's where you try to get young people that want to get into it, and that's what we're going to be as a training thing. I don't think we'll ever get to the point where we can compete, because we're not Northern Kentucky. We're not Northern Kentucky.
Well, the new retirement system too, these boys are going in, and they're having to work longer. And, like I said, the Northern Kentucky agency, Brian Wood's going to do the academy, they don't have no problem paying that contract off, because they're on the road, and the FTO, they don't have to send them for 21 or 22 weeks now, whatever it is, 10 when I went through, to the academy. They're saving money by paying the contract off.
and they're recruiting straight out of the academy.
Yeah.
Independence Police Department will send people down to or their recruits that are in the academy. They will recruit right out of the academy and tell you, hey, we'll buy your contract out. So.
I mean, at least that'd be a way to get general tax dollars we can send someone else, but we're just going to be chasing our tail.
Tell me about
Well,
it.
if you at least come
Brian, thanks.
No problem.
link to the academy, and then make them buy it out.
Moving down, Steve Tatum, anything you want to add? Sure.
I think that's something we have to do at least.
We have Larry Brown, he's with Department of Local Government, the Governor's Office. Anything, Larry, if you want to come up to the podium here?
And you wrote down my issues, right, sir?
Let me start with the last one. We need to talk real after the meeting.
military affairs in Frankfurt have done a lot of red tape reduction. And one of the things that is now, as far as I know, in regulation is you can get military police, depending on how many years of experience. And if they're retiring actually out of military, they're going to have a retirement. So that'll help their pay. Northern Kentucky, you're right. And I'm from Boone County, so, and it's okay. You can talk bad about us. It's fine. That might be a source of a place because you do not have to send them to the academy. And that helps with the initial cost, and you get them on the street, and they can do some of that training without having to go through the full-blown academy, so you get them and get them on the street. As far as how you keep them here, you know, you're right about Southern Campbell County. I knew Chief Hill in the day. He's gone, and I'm not sure actually who's running that, but that's an organization that they deal with a very rural community and not a lot. A couple things that are real quick. First, let me just compliment you all, the city, because this issue with the emergency medical, I'm hearing virtually everywhere. And I think I know the county you're talking about because it's one of my counties. And they're in a very, very bad place because they had been doing things when they went through our audit. That was one of the items that actually came back in their audit saying, you're not bidding this out. How could you be spending this kind of money and not bidding it? Because I got part of this chewed off by that judge executive. And it was one of those things where it's like, I'm not sure, you know, procurement law is what it is, but you're going to have to be creative to figure out how to provide essential services. You really are. And the State Police Academy, I happen to have been at their cadet graduation. It was one of the smallest classes in years. It was 119. And part of that is that they didn't have the money for it. A lot of it was they didn't have the numbers actually show up. Because for the last 2 years, you've seen a lot of publicity that who wants to go put on that uniform and a gun and go out and have the kind of crap that they were being thrown around. So, I mean, I think that affected a little bit of that. Let me start with this morning. I was at the chamber, and we had, it's been a long day. We had Jason from Education Workforce Development, and they were talking, they had a panel discussion about workforce development. Trust me, everybody's looking for people that show up to work, that want to work, that can pass a drug test, that kind of stuff. But I think from your all standpoint, I will tell you, because I almost stood up and cheered, they actually had a map up there for the chamber, and it actually included Gallatin, Grant, Pendleton County on it. So, I mean, that's been something I've been talking about for the last 6 months with Triad and with some of those people, that we've got to expand further south in terms of what we call Northern Kentucky. Because you all are in the middle. You're not part of Bluegrass. You're not part of, you're nowhere. I'm from Northern Kentucky, have been all my life. We're not even part of Kentucky. They think somewhere along the line, Ohio and that stuff.
Ohio Valley.
And I kid people, I worked for almost 3 years in Frankfurt. I used to tell people at home, I could kill somebody in Frankfurt and it'd be 6 months before anybody in Northern Kentucky heard about it. And now that I'm in Northern Kentucky, I could kill somebody in Northern Kentucky and it'd be 6 months before Frankfurt hear about it. So we're in that phase where we've got to work together. My push for them was it will include more legislators, more senators, which makes the Northern Kentucky caucus bigger. It's a bigger voice for all of us. So that's just something that I'm kind of working on. The other thing, I then was in Gallatin County, Warsaw, most of the morning and afternoon. Ryan Qualls was there. We had a manufacturers and an agricultural meeting and had different panel discussions on basically how the farming community and the manufacturers actually work a lot closer together than people realize. And it was a great meeting, but it was funny. Ryan and I at one point looked at each other because there's a gentleman from Dry Ridge who runs, gosh, I can't think of his name, but it's Dry Ridge Foods, and he was one of the panelists.
Grant County Foods.
Grant County Foods.
Grant County Foods. Okay,
Yes.
yeah, Grant County. And he made a comment that he didn't know about a program that's been around now for several years. And Ryan and I both looked at each other. Back to your point is we have a lot of programs, and the food issue actually came up in one of the panel discussions, in that we're taking all this food out. A lot of it's federally provided. Nobody shows up for it. because nobody knows it's there, or the kids don't have transportation to get there, or, you know, it's at this location for this hour, this location for this hour, but nobody can get them there. And it was a problem, and it still is a problem. And that county as well, they actually talked about that problem. So don't think that it's unique to Grant County. I'm seeing it virtually in the 14 counties that I have. The same argument goes in Campbell County and Newport, Covington areas. They have those same kind of facilities, but nobody shows up for the food. And they can't let it go. They can't give the kid the sandwich and let them take it. They have to eat it. And that was one of the things. I was sitting next to Senator McConnell's representative and Thomas Massey's, and we all looked at them and said, you got to change those silly federal rules, that you can't allow these children to, at least almost like a drive-through, pick it up and go. The parents literally have to drop them off, put them in the, take them to the van, go inside, wait for them to eat, and then come back. That's why a lot of the parents don't even, because it's like, I don't have that much time to do that. If they could give it to them and let them go, we'd probably have better participation. So I will tell you that our two federal folks got an earful on that one today as well. So some of that kind of stuff is in fact being talked about, but a lot of it is just regulations. And I wish we could, we're trying to cut them on a state level as fast as we can get them, but the feds sometimes override that. I know they were talking about there's no butchers anymore. All of that's because the U.S., they've cut it all out. They've said, yep. And we're working on that. But that's federal. This is the state. And I will tell you, we've cut a lot in the state, but there's so much more to do. But I do want to just congratulate the city and the county on just working together. Not all the counties are there yet. I will tell you that. I'm seeing that, and I won't mention the counties, because I'm seeing they're trying to do things together, and then all of a sudden there's blood in somebody's back, and then the whole deal falls apart. So the fact that you all got it together is a good thing for your citizens. Keep doing it. So I don't mean to take up.
No, Larry, I appreciate you stopping
coming.
in and updating us.
Well, I always
It's
like to
a
come
pleasure.
because this is where actually I think the issues are usually discussed, and not necessarily, not that I don't like to come to your office, but it's always good to hear some of the folks out here too. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Moving down, citizens address. Anybody else have anything to add?
I got a question and a suggestion.
Okay.
Question, who actually runs or owns that amphitheater at the fairgrounds?
At the fairgrounds, the Grant County Fair Board.
Yes.
I went like over to Warsaw, they had a nice fireworks display, everybody came down the river. The mayor over there, Charlie Prince, said, we don't pay, don't hide, polluting bands, we get local bands, pay them a little bit of money. Independence, they put on a big fireworks display. It's a little probably too late now, but why couldn't maybe the county get with the cities, form a board, and find out if the county, if the fair board is, if they gotta have money in order to have an event over there, $5 a car over. And maybe all of them, everybody get together, try to have one big event. Bring your chairs out, food or whatever, have vendors there, get donations throughout the year, and try to have all the cities get together with the county and everybody work together and have one big event.
For 4th of July celebration, Bobby?
Yeah, it don't have to be 4th of July, just a county get together with the cities involved and the county and get donations for people and just have one big event.
There's actually some money.
We're actually, me and Greg's already been having some conversations, so.
I mean,
Yeah.
like I said, you go to Warsaw, you go to Independence, and you see they're having, and it's working there.
And we're working on, actually, I talked to Greg the other night and even last night, and Jamie with tourism.
Yeah.
We're in the process at the Grant County Park of getting the amphitheater there fixed up and cleaned up this summer. But we're going to try to move events around throughout the county, have it at Piddle Park and things like that. So,
And Bobby, the tourism board for the hotel transient tax, a portion of that money can be used for events. And they have in the past done a few, but the reality, it goes back to they've been poorly attended. So they haven't done any of those the last couple years as far as concert series. They had a concert summer series, but I know like to Chuck's point, I know that there's discussions.
We got another local talent here.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and next year, if some of you don't know, is the 200th anniversary for Grant County. It'll be our bicentennial. We'll be kicking that off next year, and that's what I talked to actually Greg with, the fireworks show, during the 4th, and doing stuff throughout the year in each of the cities, and because we have a good group with all the cities that work good together. So
Just get vendors and local business, they donate $50. That's $50 they didn't have, and just have one big event for the cities and the county. Everybody work together and have one big event. Like I said, it's awful that amphitheater sitting over there gets used for the beauty pageant and the baby show.
Well, but even our other huh?
I understand, but I'm saying it could be utilized. It's a shame that, they spend all that money to build it and then it just sits there.
Right. Something that's become very, very popular in northern Kentucky, and especially in Cincinnati and northern Kentucky, is food trucks. And some of the cities in northern Kentucky, I've noticed, have had in their parks, they'll invite all the food trucks to come in. And all these food trucks network together. They've got a huge network. And they all get together and line all their food trucks up around all the loops and everything, and then they have little entertainments or crafts or whatever. It's a really popular event. It doesn't cost nothing. If you don't want to spend $1, you don't have to spend $1. But yet it's still a lot of free entertainment going on. And plus these food trucks are mobile. They can move from Crittenden, they can go to Dry Ridge, they can go to Corinth, they can come to Williamstown, they can go to Sherman, they can go anywhere. For those that haven't been noticing or don't know, there's a mobile food truck usually sets up at the Grant County Hospital, once a month or twice a month? From
Two different ones are coming over there.
different ones, and I think from what I understand, it's been pretty popular. There's one even now, it's called the Swirl Station, I believe, the ice cream truck. And on their Facebook page, every event they go to, they completely sell out. So it's a pretty popular thing with these mobile food trucks now, and it's becoming pretty high tech.
I just think we can do more for the people.
Yeah.
Duly noted, Bobby.
yeah.
Over to the
Duly noted.
Friday
Yeah.
event.
Right.
Right
It might have been
down
where I
Fourth
saw
Square.
that. Was it,
I actually talked to the students in Emershine from the library when we were at the food trucks they need a couple Tuesdays ago getting lunch about her contacting for the library, and I thought it would be so easy to get the Cincinnati Food Truck Association to bring down half a dozen trucks to Grant County Park.
absolutely.
And they did that. It was like, Judge, your wife brought your kids to that Splish Splash
Yes.
Friday night, and there was an okay turnout, but they had one little food truck there, but they had multiples, and they went through dinner time. You'd have people eating, they'd
Yeah.
watch a movie at the end, and they could
Right.
have fun on the water slides and run around the park and on the playgrounds.
And we've got enough parks in each area. We even have a park in Jonesville. We have one in Mountain Zion. Of course,
We're in Password.
Corinth has one. Y'all got one in District 1?
Yeah, we got a couple.
Okay. But,
You got
it just,
Web.
and these food truck vendors, they don't charge us to come in. They rely on what they sell, so.
Yep.
And Owenton, I think it was Owenton that I was reading, it's been extremely successful over in Owen County.
They do a music band that night.
On the
and-
corner.
On the corner,
and
yeah.
they've got the food trucks around the square, people just walk around, visit, talk, watch the band, plenty of places to sit out, bring chairs.
Chuck can do karaoke.
Yeah.
There we go.
Run the ball.
Anyone else have anything else to, John?
When we talked about, and Dalton said you're going to do it, change the insurance or do some shopping, monetarily, how'd you come out?
We weren't able to change insurance right at the moment. Yeah.
The
Yeah.
journey will continue.
Yeah,
John. It is
yeah, we're
very
still looking
complicated.
at the insurance, but yeah, it just, because of some other reasons, we weren't able financially of what they were wanting to charge.
Negotiate.
I'm here for the same reason that I was here a month ago.
Okay.
Coyotes. All of a sudden, they're not out. And I ran into a man who told me that these,
No.
but they're still around. And another one killed, one of them killed another baby cat. And I was here and I said, whoever's in charge, they should be fired. And I don't know what kind of action I got, and he wouldn't have to be here tonight.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I don't understand. You don't even know who the person is in charge of that.
Well, it's wildlife.
Yeah.
What?
Fish and Wildlife.
Fish and wildlife.
Yeah, Kentucky Fish and Wildlife.
Oh, man, that's a mess.
Yeah.
Did you call that one guy I gave you his number on? Did he offer to help you?
I called him, I lost the number.
Well, I'll give it to you.
Yeah, that's what you're going to have to do, Phil, is go through a private individual that traps them. Because, I mean, Fish and Wildlife, like any other law enforcement, they won't be able to,
Well, they're thicker than blue veins.
yeah.
Well, I won't tell you how many we killed off my farm. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I saw a little baby rabbit the other day. I haven't seen one all year. A little baby
Yeah.
rabbit. I used to see them everywhere.
Well, let Jacqueline give you this
Squirrels
number.
got a chance. They go up a tree.
This guy likes to trap them for fun.
I call him and what?
Just tell him your issue. Tell Jackson.
Okay.
But you want to trap,
That's a man.
yeah, call that guy there and he'll trap it.
Now, these animals that they've killed in 9 or 10 months, I will get at least $500 for them. All right, that's 2 of them. If you can add right, that's $1,000. How do I get my money?
From the coyote killing your wildlife? I mean, coyote killing your cattle?
Yeah, the cats.
Yeah,
There is not.
Larry, there's something that, yeah, it's
There used to be like a rebate program.
U.S. Department of Agriculture.
I think he needs to not call the game warden. He needs to call the Department of Fish and Wildlife, the conservation officers in Frankfurt. And they will be able to help you with regulating predator animals on agriculture. Anything agriculture.
I tell you who to check with, Phil, is Chris Harriman at the Extension Office, because I had met a couple months ago with a lady from the U.S. Department of Agriculture, and there's a form you can fill out for your livestock, like your animals if they were killed by a wild animal. So check with Chris on that.
I thought I might turn it over to our lawyer up here, Steve, if he's not going to be able to help me. Nobody seems to want to help me.
Well, I mean, I don't have a trap to catch them, and I'd come out there and catch them myself.
Oh,
But
you get one every day.
yeah,
Yeah.
so.
That's how thick they
But
are.
call this gentleman here that Jacqueline's has.
Who's this?
That's who can help you from the state level to see if they can come out.
Thank
That
you.
other guy's local, he just traps them.
Thank you much.
Okay.
All right.
Don't lose them.
Does anybody else have anything? If not, can I?
I got to know my.
Oh, okay.
What is, have we got any chances of factories coming in to Grant County?
Yeah, there's a possibility of one getting ready to expand.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that.
Yeah. So,
And Phil, every day the chamber is, at least probably once a week or so, Jamie is mailing out packets. I would venture to say that's not a stretch comment. She's constantly marketing different areas in Grant County to generate, additional revenue and jobs.
I got 4 kids, and I'm very fortunate that they all have a job.
yes,
Because I can bet on it that there's a lot of people can't stay there.
right. Good deal. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn, and we will reconvene on Tuesday, August 6th at 6:30.
I'll second.
I have a second. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries, and we are adjourned. Thank you all.